ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुः उन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः. So today, so topic for today's discussion is the introduction of the Bhagavad Gita. Right, so we will be discussing that why we need to read Gita, right? What are the advantages? And you need to tell me what could be the disadvantages of reading Gita, studying Gita, teaching Gita. What could be the disadvantages? Right? You tell me. So, I remember this particular picture which is in front of you in the screen. I remember this was the same picture way back in 1990s at our at our home, which was in the village. So we used to stay with our grandparents there, and we had this big poster there, and it was written Yada Yada Hi Dharmasya Glaniribhavati Bharata Adbhutan Dharmasya Tadatmanam Srjamaham. Whenever there is a decline of a religion, I come to raise the religion, right? So I still remember this picture very clearly, and I still remember that my grandfather would tell me, not only me, but he would gather all the boys, young kids around, and he used to tell the stories in the night, and I still remember each and every word of those stories, right? So in the childhood the memory is very strong. So more we give, that is also fine, no problem. We may say why we are overdosing the children, but no, their capacity is much more than what we think. That's why they say na ki make them by heart in the childhood, let them understand later, they will understand by their own later. But now just make them mug up. Don't think about understanding. Now it's time. The intelligence is very sharp, the brain, the memory is very sharp. Just give them more and more. So this is the time for the kids. So they can hear more, they can memorize more and more. So this is the time for the parents to give them more, right? So I thought of these things, and then I thought, today's parents, they may not get a time to read Bhagavad Gita for their kids. They don't get a time to read, what to speak of understanding, what to speak of practicing. So I thought of creating some course so that parents can understand, they can learn themselves, and in their own language they can teach to their kids, right? So, and in India the specialty is everyone knows about Mahabharata, everyone knows about Krishna, Ram. This is specialty of India. Wherever you go, you cannot avoid dharma, right? I remember in Mumbai we have one beer bar named as a Sudama beer bar. Sudama was the friend of Krishna. So you cannot avoid Krishna anywhere. Everywhere, in India, in Indian blood, the dharma is, very much connected. It is very much part of our daily routine, right? But as the Kali Yuga is progressing, we are facing a very difficult issue to cope up with the dharma, to walk on the line of a dharma, right? So let's go ahead. This particular verse was spoken by Sanjay. So in the Mahabharata, we have a Sanjay who is dictating, who is, in one sense, he was telecasting Whatever he was saying on the battlefield of the Kurukshetra, he was just speaking that. He was live. There was no Zoom classes that time. So he was watching and he was narrating the whole Mahabharata. Whatever the incidents they were happening that time there. So he was just narrating. He was just describing in the details what he is saying. Just listen carefully. Rajan sansmritya संवादम मिममद्भुतम केशवार्जुनयोः पुण्यम हृष्यामि च मुहुर्मुहुर्. O king, as I repeatedly recall this wondrous discussion between Krishna and Arjuna, what is happening? I am feeling very pleasurable and I am being thrilled at every moment. I am feeling very happy whenever I hear this discussion. So this is the result of reading Gita. You feel very happy. Why you feel happy? Because it's Krishna's nature that Sachidananda. Krishna is Sachidananda. Krishna is described as the Sachidananda Vigraha. Sat means eternal. Chit means full of knowledge. And Ananda means bliss. Krishna is pure bliss. So whatever and whoever comes in his contacts become like him. Just like you have a fire, and if you put a iron rod into the fire, the iron rod turns into the red, right? It appears that the iron rod has also become a fire, right? So this is Krishna's beauty. This is Krishna characteristics, that whoever comes in his contacts becomes like him. Not him, becomes like him, right? So Krishna is always happy. So whoever comes in the contact with Krishna, and Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Sukhena Brahma Sansparsham Sukham Atyantam Ashnute. Brahma Sansparsha means whoever comes in the contact with the Paramatma, Sukham Atyantam Ashnute, he gets the Sukham, pure bliss, Atyantam, inexhaustible. So Sanjay is experiencing that bliss. He's so happy. And we will see that how we can experience this pleasure, right? Let's go ahead. So this particular verse is spoken by Shankaracharya, Adi Shankaracharya. And Adi Shankaracharya, in his small book Gita Mahatmya, he is describing the glories of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. What he is saying? Malam nirmochanam pumsa jalasnanam dine dine Sakrita Gita Amrita Snanam Samsaramala Nashanam. So just like we take a bath, every day we take a bath. Why we take a bath? To remove that dirt, to clean ourselves, right? Similarly, when we read a Gita, we are cleaning our heart, right? How to clean our heart? Can we put a soap there? When I say the heart, that means our consciousness. How to clean our consciousness? How to clean our mind? It has become a garbage, a dustbin. It has become a dustbin. So much garbage we are consuming every day, in and out. It has become like a dustbin, and that's why we see so many people. They are in a depression. They are there. In Kali Yuga, there are very less cases of physical pain and there are more cases of mental pain. It is said that 97% of the people are going through this distress. They are going through this, mental pain. Yet how to clean that? How to get rid of that mental pain? How to clean our consciousness? It is a Bhagavad Gita. One may cleanse himself daily by taking a bath in a water, but if one takes bath even once in the sacred Ganges of water of Bhagavad Gita, for him the dirt of material life is altogether vanquished. So even once if you read, then your dirt of the material consciousness will be cleaned. I'll tell you the story, right? As I promised you that we'll be telling very many stories so that you can tell your kids, right? So once there was a grandfather and he would wake up early in the morning and he would chant the shlokas from Gita, and his grandson would watch this every morning. And I still remember, in villages practically everyone wakes up early in the morning, everyone. Hmm. So I still remember my granny used to wake up by 5 a.m. in the morning, and then she would chant the bhajans, right, of various saints. And I would be always amazed to hear that voice. She was not a singer, right? But that particular song, that particular bhajan, that particular mantra was coming from her heart. It was, very special, and I would really fresh, in the morning. So this particular boy, grandson, he also, was very amazed to see that his grandfather every day chants Gita, and so he picked up the book one day and he started reading, but nothing was going inside, nothing was sinking, right? So he asked, Grandpa, I don't know, nothing is going in. I'm just reading, I'm just murmuring the words, I'm just chanting the words, and nothing is going in. What should I do? Then grandpa told him, do one exercise. He said, tell me. Tomorrow, take this coal basket, remove those coals and take this coal basket to the river, fill the water and get back to me. Right? Get back that water to me. So he said, okay, grandfather, I'll do that. So early morning, he got up from the bed and he took that basket. He went to the river. He filled that basket with the water. But guess what happened? As you can see, that basket has many holes, right? So all the water was, came out. And so when he reached, he was very young. So when he reached to his grandfather to show, see grandfather, I have got the water, but water was not there. So he was very, sad. So grandfather said, don't worry, do it tomorrow. So he continuously did that, but still there was no water reaching till his grandfather, right? So he was very upset. He said, no, grandfather, I'm not going to do this again. So grandfather told, okay, come here. Can you get that basket? So he got that basket to his grandfather. And then grandfather told, can you see the difference between this particular basket and other baskets? So he told, yes, I can see that this basket is quite clean. Other baskets are black because they are in the contact with the coal. Now this basket is very clean. So grandfather told, similarly, our consciousness is dark, is black like a coal, it is contaminated. But when we come in the contact with the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna, it gets slowly cleaned. We may not see the result, we may not see that the water is, we can carry the water through it. But no, it is getting cleaned. So keep patience and continue. So grandfather told him, don't worry, after you keep doing this, now after some time, these sticks you are seeing, they will become a little thick automatically because water will go inside those sticks, they will become thick, and then that gap will be reduced, and one day you will be able to get the water. So similarly, we may not see that there is tangible transformation in our consciousness, but wait a minute, you are slowly getting cleaned. Your consciousness is transforming slowly, right? Let's go ahead. So he is a Yamunacharya. Yamunacharya was the Acharya. So in short, I will tell the story that he was a very scholar student, and he was a devotee, great devotee of Lord Sri Krishna. He would chant the Gita verses every day. His grandfather had taught him, right? But as he grew old, he got the kingdom. Because of his, intelligence and power, he got the kingdom. Now when he started ruling the kingdom, he completely forgot about his religion, his eternal duties. Now here when we say about a dharma, that doesn't mean the religion. Dharma means our primary duty. So we have two kinds of duties. We have duties to be performed here in this world, and we have one eternal duty, right? Eternal duty does not end when the body gets, basically when we die. Yeah, so it's eternal. So we have eternal dharma and we have temporary dharma. Both dharma we have to perform, right? So fighting for the Arjuna was his temporary dharma, right? It was the dharma related to his body, right? And what was his eternal dharma? To love Krishna, to follow Krishna's instructions. So both are important, and we will see that how to perform the duties and everything we are going to see. So don't worry at all. So this Yamunacharya became the king, and his grandfather was worried. He is forgetting his eternal dharma. He is forgetting Krishna. So he asked one of his servant, Rama Mishra, go to this Yamuna and convince him to come back and get again into the bhakti. So Rama Mishra was thinking, he is the big king. Yamunacharya is now big king. How can I convince him? So what he did some tricks, and he started giving some food to the king indirectly through the cook. So the king started liking this particular food which was given by Rama Mishra. So king asked, who is giving this sabji, who is giving these vegetables, and who is giving these fruits to me? Get that person to me. So this Rama Mishra was brought in front of the king, and that time Rama Mishra told, this particular kingdom you are handling, you are ruling, it is nothing in front of the kingdom which your grandfather has kept for you. So leave this and come with me. So now his greed, Yamunacharya's greed, it was lurking in the heart. So he said, yes, I will come. I will prepare my soldiers and we will go to that kingdom. He said, no, don't get the soldiers. You alone is sufficient. Come with me. So both were walking. As both were walking, Rama Mishra, it was his habit to sing Bhagavad Gita verses. So he started singing the Bhagavad Gita verses. And as he was singing the Bhagavad Gita verses, his heart transformation started. Yamunacharya was completely, purified in those, in some time. And he started crying. Mayeva man adhashva mayi buddhi niveshaya. When he chanted this verse, Rama Mishra chanted this verse, tears started flowing from the eyes of Yamunacharya. He said, Krishna is saying, Mayeva man adhashva, give your mind to me, mayi buddhi niveshaya. Give your intelligence to me. Give your mind to me, give your intelligence to me. So Yamunacharya started thinking, I have given my mind to money, I have given my intelligence to kingdom, I am not giving anything to Krishna. Krishna, what is this? And he started, crying. So that time Rama Mishra, told him that, come with me, I will give you the greatest treasure of the world. So he got him to Ranganath Swami temple, like that. And he became then the guru there, and he had the disciple named Ramanujacharya, like that. So it still has that transformation potential. Even we don't understand, it will going to transform your consciousness, your heart. So it is also the verse from the Gita Mahatmya written by Shankaracharya. He is explaining that the Charnamrita has the power to transform one, right? So this particular Charanamrita, what is the Charanamrita? Charanamrita is the water which has washed the feet of Lord Vishnu. For example, Ganga is called as a Charanamrita because it is emanating from the feet of Lord Vishnu. So Shankaracharya is saying, Ganga can transform you, then why not the Bhagavad Gita? Because Ganga is coming from the feet of Krishna, Bhagavad Gita is coming from the mouth of Krishna, like that. So just imagine the potency of Gita. Shankaracharya is saying, Sarvo Upanishado Gavo Dugdha Gopal Nandanaha Partho Vatsa Sudhir Bhokta Dugdham Gita Amrutam Mahan. So he's saying This Gita-Upanishad is the essence of Upanishad. Sarva Upanishada Gava, all the Upanishads are like the cows. And Krishna is like the coward boy. So he's like a milkman. So he is milking this all the Upanishads, all the Shastras, all the Vedas, and he's giving the milk. To whom? To Arjuna. So this milk is nothing but a Bhagavad Gita. It is the essence of all the scriptures, right? So, many times we complained that God doesn't talk to me, right? But God has already given His words, right? When we pray to Krishna, when we talk to Krishna, that is prayers, right? But when God speaks to you, that is Bhagavad Gita. So we should not complain ever that, God is not speaking to me, is not replying to my answers. Read Gita, you will get your all answers, right? So why to read Gita? However modern we become, the basic problems of the life, the basic miseries of the life, that is not going to change. The basic nature of this material world is not going to change, right? And the Gita is like that manual which helps us to deal with those miseries, sadness, and in fact happiness of this material world. So it's like a manual. And if we don't use the manual, we will spoil the machine, right? So when the machine is new, we have to use the manual, right? And we have to learn that how to use that machine, so that we can use that with the utmost efficiency. But if we don't use the manual, we will just spoil the machine. So similarly, the human body is like a machine and the Gita is like the manual. It is telling us what to do, what not to do. So what could be the real problems of the life? So real problems of the life means they are common to all. No one wants it and no one can avoid it. It's common to all. These problems are very common to all. Which are those problems? Let's see. Are these problems job, hunger, homelessness, depression? Are these problems real problems? No, they are not real problems. They are relative problems, because not everyone is looking for the job. So these are not common problems, right? Not everyone is hungry. So common problems, these are not real problems because they are not common. So what are the real problems? So real problem is a birth, old age, disease and death. Janma mrityu jara vyadhi dukkha doshanudarshanam. Janma mrityu jara vyadhi, these are 4 real problems of the life. And Gita directs us, help us how to, deal with those problems, deal with these issues. So you may say that how the birth is the problem. Birth is the problem because it gives rise to, it is a source of other problems. That's why birth is a problem. And in other sense, if you think, if you see that when the child is born, is he happy? Is he laughing? No, he cries because he's going through that pain. For 9 months, he just, in that congested place. So it's a problem, right? If I ask you to stay, now the corona is going on, and if you have been quarantined at one place, if doctor tells you be in isolated home for 14 days, you will go in a depression, right? So just think of this baby who is in the womb for 9 months. It's a so chaotic situation for that baby, right? Then old age is a problem because you have so much desire to enjoy, but you cannot do anything, right? Angam galitam palitam mondam dashana vihina jatam tundam vruddho yati gruhitva dandam tadapi namanchati asha pindam. Shankaracharya says, Angam galitam, your body become a loose, gal jati hai puri body, galitam. Angam galitam, Palitamundam, your hair goes grey. It turns grey. Dashana vihina jatam tundam, and all the teeth, they fall away, right? Vruddhyati grihitva dandam. You cannot walk properly, that's why you need a danda, stick. Tadapina munchati asha pindam, and still you have a strong desire because your soul is still young, your body has gone old, your mind is still young, you want to enjoy but you cannot do anything, and that's why it's a misery, it's a problem. And no one can avoid it, everyone has to go through the old age, right? So it is the problem, right? And you must have seen the old people, how they are suffering, right? Are they enjoying their old age? No, body is paining, Baba, right? That sight goes weak, your hearing capacity goes less, right? You cannot walk properly, you cannot chew properly. So how we can say that the old age is not the problem? Let's go ahead. Then janma mrityu vyadhi. Vyadhi means diseases. Nobody wants a disease, but still one has to go through the diseases. This is the real problem, and no scientist has found the solution to the disease, right? So when they found solution for one disease, they get the solution for one disease, there arise another disease, right? So after corona, something other will come, because it is the nature of this world that there has to be a diseases. And then death, one has to go through the death. We cannot avoid the death, and as per the Shastra Garuda Puran, during the death, one, that in that short period, the misery is so strong, the pain is so strong that it is equivalent to the biting of 40,000 scorpions at single moment. Have you experienced the bite of one scorpion? It is hellish. Let me tell you, it is hellish. I have seen the person was bitten by the scorpion. He was just shouting, he was just yelling, he was just crying, he could not open his eyes. It was so painful. And can you imagine the misery, the pain which one goes through while a death, means which is equivalent to the biting of 40,000 scorpions at a single moment. Very painful. So it is a problem, it is a real problem. So Bhagavad Gita gives us the way to deal with these problems. That's why we need Bhagavad Gita. We need Bhagavad Gita, we need Bhagavad Gita. And there are three types of miseries. Adhyatmika. Adhyatmika miseries means the pain caused by our own self, right? Adibhautika means the pain caused by the other living entities. Adidaivika means pain or misery caused by higher living entities or by nature, by Prakriti. So these kind of miseries we go through. Now this is a Adhyatmika miseries. Adhyatmika miseries means the pain caused by our own mind, right? As I told that many people are going through these mental diseases. So this is Adhyatmika misery. Then there comes the Adibhautika, the misery is caused by another living entity. It could be a mosquito, or it could be your friend who is just insulting you. It is also painful, right? So Adhyatmika, Adibhautika, and then third comes the Adidaivika. Adidaivika miseries basically means the miseries or the pain caused by the nature. So we have famine, we have heavy rains, we have tornadoes, right? We have tsunami. So these are the pain or the miseries caused by the nature. So Bhagavad Gita is guiding us how to live a life, or how to avoid these miseries altogether. So as I was telling you, these are the miseries. I am not telling that these are the miseries. Krishna is telling it. Krishna is saying that if you have come to this world, you have to go through the miseries and you have to go through the pains. Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi, and then Adi Atmika, Adi Daivika, Adi Bhautika. You have to go through that. And if at all we are searching for this happiness in this material world, then we are just fooling ourselves. Straightforward. Krishna is saying, Dukkhalayam Ashashvatam. You have come to the miserable world and you are just trying to be happy. That is not possible, boss. Because Krishna says, I have not made this world for enjoying purpose. I have not made this world so that you can get some happiness. No, I have not made this world for that. It is going to be a miserable place. However we do anything. So since time immemorial, scientists are trying various things so that man can become happy. But still they have not come to any conclusion. Michael Jackson, he tried. He had so much money, but he could not protect his life. Right? So we are trying to search happiness in the wrong place. This person, you are seeing his key is lost somewhere else, but he is searching for that key under the light, under the street light. Right? Similarly, we have lost our happiness somewhere else and we are searching for that happiness in this world. So I have given them an example. Like Krishna said, this is the Dukkhalaya. Dukkhalaya means you will get the miseries here. So I have just shown two pictures here. One picture is Pustakalaya. Pustakalaya is the place where you will get the pustak, books, and other is Madiralaya. Madiralaya is the place where you get the Madira, the beer. Similarly, Dukkhalaya is the place where you will get the Dukkha, miseries. So we have to be ready, right? And we are seeing the Dukkha, miseries everywhere, right? So we welcome all of you for this wonderful course. And I hope that you will sincerely and seriously participate in this course. If you have any question, kindly put it in our WhatsApp group or you can comment. So this is the verse in the Bhagavad Gita where Krishna is saying, whoever reads the Bhagavad Gita, he is worshipping me with intelligence. So there are various types of worshipping, right? You offer flowers, you offer the diya lamp, and there are various types of worship. You give some charity, but when we read Bhagavad Gita, we are worshipping Krishna with our intelligence. Our intelligence is getting purified. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.